how to calm your mind when you feel overwhelmed. Have you ever felt like your mind won't stop racing? Like there are too many thoughts spinning around in your head at once, and you can't catch any of them long enough to think clearly? Maybe you have too much to do and not enough time. Maybe you're worried about something important. Maybe life just feels like too much right now. This feeling is called being overwhelmed, and almost everyone experiences it at some point. When your mind feels overwhelmed, it's hard to think, hard to focus, hard to make decisions. Everything feels urgent and important, and you don't know where to start. Today, I want to talk about what happens when your mind gets overwhelmed, and more importantly, I want to share some simple ways to calm it down. These aren't complicated techniques. They're practical things you can do right now, in this moment, to help yourself feel more peaceful and in control. The first thing to understand about feeling overwhelmed is what's actually happening in your brain. When you have too many things demanding your attention at once, your brain goes into a kind of panic mode. It's trying to process everything at the same time, which is impossible. Imagine a computer trying to run 50 programs all at once. It slows down, it freezes, it stops working properly. Your brain does something similar. And when your brain is overwhelmed, it triggers your body's stress response. Your heart might beat faster. Your breathing might become shallow. You might feel tightness in your chest or stomach. Your thoughts start racing even faster, jumping from one worry to another without stopping. It's an uncomfortable feeling, and it can make you feel like you're losing control. But here's something important to know. You're not losing control. Your brain is just overloaded. And just like a computer, it needs to close some of those programs to function properly again. The good news is that you have the power to do this. You can calm your mind, you can slow down your thoughts, you can feel better. It just takes a few simple steps. Let me tell you about a time when I felt completely overwhelmed. This was a few years ago. I had just started a new job, and I was also trying to finish a course I was taking. At the same time, I had some family issues that needed my attention, and I was supposed to help organize a friend's birthday party. Every morning, I would wake up with my mind already racing. I would lie there thinking about all the things I needed to do that day, and I would feel my chest getting tight with anxiety. I couldn't focus on any one thing because I was thinking about everything at once. I felt paralyzed. I would sit at my desk, staring at my computer, unable to decide what to work on first because everything felt equally urgent. One evening, I was sitting at my kitchen table, feeling completely stuck and stressed, when my roommate came home. She could see that something was wrong. She sat down across from me and said, "You look overwhelmed. What's going on?" I started listing everything I had to do, speaking faster and faster, my voice getting higher with stress. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said something simple but profound. She said, "Okay, but right now, in this exact moment, what do you need to do?" I looked at her, confused. "What do you mean?" I asked. She smiled gently. "I mean, right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Right this second. What's the one thing you need to do?" I thought about it, and I realized that right in that moment, I didn't actually need to do anything except breathe and calm down. Everything else could wait. That realization was like someone had opened a window in a stuffy room. I could breathe again. My roommate then taught me something that I still use today whenever I feel overwhelmed. She taught me a simple breathing technique to calm my mind. This technique is called box breathing, or sometimes square breathing. It's very simple, but it's incredibly effective. Here's how it works. You breathe in slowly while counting to 4. Then you hold your breath for 4 counts. Then you breathe out slowly for 4 counts. Then you hold your breath again for 4 counts. And then you repeat. The counting gives your mind something specific to focus on, which interrupts the racing thoughts. And the slow, controlled breathing tells your body that you're safe, which turns off that stress response we talked about earlier. I tried it that evening, sitting at my kitchen table with my roommate. At first, it felt a bit strange. My mind kept wanting to jump back to my to-do list, but I kept bringing my attention back to the counting, back to my breath. After just a few minutes, I could feel a difference. My shoulders relaxed. My chest didn't feel so tight. My thoughts slowed down. I wasn't thinking about 17 things at once anymore. I was just breathing. And in that calm space, I was able to think more clearly about what I actually needed to do. So breathing is the first tool for calming an overwhelmed mind. It's simple, it's free, and you can do it anywhere. When you notice your mind starting to race, when you feel that tightness in your chest, stop what you're doing and breathe. You don't have to use the box breathing technique if it doesn't work for you. Any slow, deep breathing will help. The key is to make your exhale longer than your inhale, because that activates the calming part of your nervous system. Breathe in for 4 counts, breathe out for 6 or 8 counts. Do this for just a few minutes, and you'll notice your mind starting to settle. The second tool is something I call brain dumping. This is when you take all those thoughts spinning around in your head and you write them down on paper. When thoughts are in your head, they feel huge and endless. They keep circling around, never quite resolving. But when you write them down, something magical happens. They become manageable. They become concrete. You can see exactly what you're dealing with instead of just feeling overwhelmed by a vague sense of too much. Here's how to do a brain dump. Get a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes. Then, just write down everything that's in your mind. Every task you need to do. Every worry you have. Every thought that's bothering you. Don't organize it. Don't judge it. Don't try to solve anything yet. Just get it all out of your head and onto the paper. Write quickly. Don't stop to think. Just dump it all out. When the timer goes off, stop writing, take a breath. Now look at what you wrote. You'll probably notice a few things. First, it's probably not as much as it felt like when it was all swirling in your head. Second, some of the things you wrote down aren't actually problems you need to solve right now. They're just worries or what-ifs. You can cross those out or put them aside. Third, some of the things on your list are actually the same thing written different ways. Or they're related to each other. You can group those together. Now you can prioritize. Look at what's left and ask yourself, what actually needs my attention today? What can wait? What can I delegate to someone else? What can I just let go of? Circle the 2 or 3 things that are truly important and urgent. Everything else goes on a later list. And just like that, you've gone from feeling overwhelmed by everything to having a clear focus on the few things that actually matter right now. The third tool for calming an overwhelmed mind is to change your physical state. Your mind and body are deeply connected. When your mind is stressed, your body tenses up. But this connection works both ways. When you change your body, you can change your mind. This is why exercise is so good for stress and anxiety. When you move your body, you release some of that built-up tension and stress energy. You don't need to do an intense workout. Sometimes just standing up and stretching helps. Or going for a short walk, even just around your room or office. Or doing a few jumping jacks. Or dancing to a song you love. The movement interrupts the stress cycle. It gives your mind a break from the overwhelm, and it often helps you see things more clearly when you come back to whatever was stressing you. I also find that cold water can be incredibly effective when I'm feeling overwhelmed. Splashing cold water on your face or holding your wrists under cold running water for a minute can instantly calm your nervous system. There's actually a physiological reason for this. Cold water activates something called the dive reflex, which slows your heart rate and helps you feel calmer. It's a quick reset button when your mind is racing. The fourth tool is about changing your environment, even in small ways. Sometimes when you're overwhelmed, your physical space mirrors your mental state. Maybe your desk is cluttered. Maybe you're surrounded by reminders of all the things you need to do. Maybe you're in a noisy or chaotic environment. If you can, change something about your surroundings. Clear your desk of everything except what you're working on right now. Move to a different room. Go outside for a few minutes. Put on headphones and listen to calm music. Light a candle or open a window. These small changes can help your mind feel less crowded. The fifth tool is something that might sound counterintuitive when you're overwhelmed. Do nothing. This sounds impossible when you have 100 things to do. But sometimes, the best thing you can do when you're overwhelmed is to give yourself permission to stop and rest. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Sit or lie down comfortably. Close your eyes and just be. Don't try to solve anything. Don't think about your to-do list. Just let yourself rest. Your mind might protest. It might say, "I don't have time for this." But the truth is, if you're so overwhelmed that you can't think clearly, you're not being productive anyway. Those 10 minutes of rest might help you work more effectively than an hour of anxious spinning. Another helpful strategy is to talk to someone. When you're overwhelmed, you're often stuck in your own head, and it's hard to see clearly. Talking to a friend, family member, or even just saying your thoughts out loud to yourself can help. Sometimes just the act of putting your feelings into words makes them feel more manageable. And often, the person you're talking to can offer a perspective you hadn't considered, or remind you that you're not alone, or simply be a calming presence. I also want to mention something about technology. Our phones and computers can add to feelings of overwhelm. We're constantly getting notifications, messages, emails, updates. It's like having 100 people all trying to talk to you at once. When you're feeling overwhelmed, it can help to turn off notifications or put your phone in another room for a while. Give yourself permission to disconnect. The messages will still be there later, but right now, you need to focus on calming your mind. One more thing that helps me when I'm overwhelmed is to remember that this feeling is temporary. When you're in the middle of feeling overwhelmed, it can feel like it will last forever. But it won't. Feelings pass. Situations change. You've been overwhelmed before, and you got through it. You'll get through this too. Sometimes just reminding yourself of that truth can bring a sense of perspective and calm. Let me also say that if you're frequently feeling overwhelmed, if it's affecting your ability to function in daily life, it might be helpful to talk to a counselor or therapist. There's no shame in getting professional help. Sometimes overwhelm is a sign that something in your life needs to change, whether that's your workload, your boundaries, your habits, or your way of thinking. A good therapist can help you figure that out. But for those everyday moments of overwhelm, the moments we all experience, these simple tools can make a real difference. Breathe slowly and deeply. Write down your thoughts. Move your body. Change your environment. Rest when you need to. Talk to someone. Step away from technology. Remind yourself that this is temporary. These aren't fancy or complicated strategies. They're simple, practical things you can do anytime, anywhere. The most important thing to remember is this: when you feel overwhelmed, you don't have to push through it with force. You don't have to just try harder or think faster. In fact, that usually makes things worse. What you need is to pause, to slow down, to give your mind the space and calm it needs to function properly again. It's okay to take that pause. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. Your mind is an amazing tool, but like any tool, it works best when it's not overloaded. When you notice the signs of overwhelm, racing thoughts, tight chest, inability to focus, that's your signal to use one of these calming techniques. Don't wait until you're completely burnt out. Take care of your mind the way you would take care of your body. Give it rest. Give it space. Give it what it needs. You deserve to feel calm. You deserve to feel clear-headed and capable. And you can feel that way, even in the middle of a busy, challenging life. It just takes a moment to pause, breathe, and use these simple tools to bring yourself back to center. When you do, you'll find that things feel more manageable. You'll be able to think more clearly, make better decisions, and handle whatever comes your way with more ease and confidence. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, remember, you have the power to calm your mind. You know what to do. Just breathe and start from there.